I want us to start off the program talking about COVID. Now, I know y'all hate me for talking about COVID. Please stop throwing things at the screen. That's enough. That's enough of that. Y'all, COVID is what, kids? Still very much out here jumping on people. And they got the new COVID, the remix, the Delta variant, which, by the way, has some more remixes coming behind it. The Delta Plus variant, the Lambda, the AKA, the Delta Sigma Theta. Like, they just running them out here. All these remixes of COVID-19 that are still out here jumping on people. So much so that hospitals, medical professionals are overwhelmed, overworked, overburdened. Some nurses and doctors are straight up quitting as a result of this latest fourth wave of COVID-19 fueled by the Delta variant. It's bad out here, y'all. And I know all of my good friends who are joining us in the chat are either vaccinated fully, not that half-ass shit, not that only got one shot shit. No, we're not playing that out here, ladies, gentlemen, and theys. So I know all my people in her are either fully vaccinated, or if y'all are not fully vaccinated, you out here wearing your masks inside, following all the COVID protocols, making sure your hands are clean, masking your children, because we are never going to get out of this pandemic until we get out of this pandemic. And the pandemic is not done with us. This is very clear, right? So in order to increase the number of fully vaccinated people out here, states and cities and municipalities across this country are now laying the smack of down. They are telling motherfuckers, you have to be mandated, bitch. If you won't work here, you better go holler at that Pfizer, that Moderna, that J&J. You got to come in here with something. And if you don't come in here vaccinated with something, you have to submit yourself to frequent COVID testing. Fine, right? Now, who do y'all think, if you have seen the headline in today's show title, guys, who do you think is putting up the biggest amount of resistance when it comes to state workers and mandatory vaccine guidelines, mandatory vaccines? It is the police, the so-called upholders of public safety. They themselves would prefer to be COVID super spreaders and go around their respective towns just spreading COVID everywhere. Yes. And it is. Thank you. Yes. Alicia, lots of correct answers. DeSantis. Hey, KFZ 24/7. DeSantis is an acceptable answer because that nigga's crazy. And if you're in Florida, oh my gosh, prayers up for all of our Floridians out here, because Ron DeSantis is absolutely trying to kill Floridians, and it is a scary situation to behold. But let's get back to the funky ass police while we at it. So guys, in addition to police I'm telling you, this is around the country. Like, I was a little bit dismayed, but at the same time, not surprised at all when I saw all the different regions that police are resisting getting these COVID vaccinations. Today, if you could for me, pop up A1. So from the SFist, the San Franciscoist local publication there, San Francisco Sheriff's Union vows to quit en masse over vaccine requirement in a rambling Facebook post. Now, I was able to find said Facebook post, and my goofy ass did not send it today, but I'm going to read it for y'all very quickly because it was a bit rambling. The San Francisco Deputy Sheriff's Association, I guess is their version of the FOP, the FSDSA, according to them, I'm reading this, has always promoted COVID-19 safety and has given out masks as well as face shields to first responders and the public during the peak of the pandemic. We believe data and science speaks for itself and that masking works. The problem is that we are faced now with the strict San Francisco mandate, which is vaccinate or be terminated. If deputy sheriffs are forced to vaccinate, a percentage of them will retire early or seek employment elsewhere. Where you going, nigga? They just said everybody. Well, that's San Francisco. I'm imagining California, the state, is going to follow suit with a vaccine mandate, perhaps for all state workers, but maybe not. State of Maryland is not doing that either. Stacking like some ho-hos out here. The majority of deputy sheriffs are vaccinated. Approximately 160 out of 700 deputy sheriffs have not yet been vaccinated, and they prefer to mask and test weekly instead of being vaccinated due to religious and other beliefs. I'm curious, guys. I keep hearing that. Let me go back to the chat because y'all be smart sometimes. Y'all be smart a lot of times, actually. When they talk about religious exemptions, what religion are they referring to? I'm not familiar with such a religion that says you can't get vaccinated. Now I know it's some, the people that, refuse to take their children to the hospital and then all of a sudden they get charged with, involuntary manslaughter because their child had a very treatable disease, but because of religious exemptions, they decided not to take the kid. I'm just like, what? Why? And what health exemptions are there for people who can't get COVID? I'm just very curious. I've known to use stem cells. Okay, Black Magic. Okay. Jehovah's Witnesses. So no Jehovah's Witnesses be vaccinated against nothing? Wow. Anyway, okay. Well, there's that. Religion of right-wing stupidity. Accurate. That's our final answer. No more answer submissions. That's the answer. So, you just heard from the San Francisco Deputies Sheriff's Association that some of their members could elect to quit or retire if they are forced to get vaccinated. But I want you guys to take a listen, just to give you an example, another example of the levels of ridiculosity, because they are quite ridiculous. Tunde, pop up that, hold on, let me tell you which one it is. Just to give y'all another example, A2 for me, please. This is from the Chicago Sun-Times, okay? The Illinois Fraternal Order of Police opposes Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's vaccine mandate impacting some of the police union members. And this is what the FOP in Illinois had to say. And they, again, ridiculous is just the tip of the iceberg. So the Illinois Fraternal Order Police State Lodge is opposed to Governor J.B. Pritzker's vaccine requirement for its members, calling the mandate, quote, vaccine shaming of public employees. Scott Ward, who is the president of the FOP Corrections Lodge 263, which includes employees in the state departments of corrections and juvenile justice facilities, just to give y'all an idea of how many different agencies and facilities that the Illinois FOP work at. They work in the corrections, juvenile justice, and the regular old polices. They gave a statement, the president gave a statement that his organization isn't opposed to the vaccine, but, quote, we are opposed to being forced to take it. Quote, it's always dangerous when the state unilaterally decides to deny the constitutional rights of targeted groups of citizens, such as our members who work in prisons and juvenile facilities. Even the detainees we supervise are not being forced to take the vaccines. Now, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. That sounds like some bullshit, right? I don't know if they are mandating for people who are incarcerated to get the vaccine. It would seem logic. It would follow logic that would be the case. I do not know for certain that is the case, but I find it hilarious that the president of the Illinois FOP has the audacity to fix his little Twitter fingers to say that police and correctional officers are targeted groups for who are being forced to take vaccinations, right? Here's the thing. And the police are, again, laying this very bare. The police are not here for your public safety. The police are here to collect that overtime and to collect them big fat pensions and to take all the additional sensitivity training and don't kill niggas training and all that extra shit in order to drive up their base annual salaries to north of six figures in a lot of places, especially in places like Illinois, big cities like Chicago. You best believe CPD is making that skrilla. But they could care less about being super spreaders themselves. They could care less about their engagement with the community. If you follow People's City Council based in Los Angeles, Ricky Sergenko's a friend of the show. Richie tweets constantly from the People's City Council about being out in public spaces and consistently seeing California law enforcement not masks, either if it's the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department or LAPD or the CHP. He said them Bamas never wear masks out and about. And to give you yet another example of the ridiculosity of the police union's argument for not wanting to be vaccinated, I want us to take a look at this package from CBS 4 out in Denver, okay? The police union out there denounced its own survey of unvaccinated officers, despite conflicting texts by the president of the police union out there in Denver. So I want us to take a listen to this package, CBS 4 Denver, just to give you an idea of, one, how incompetent the police are, and two, how much out of touch they are. And let me ask you guys a question before we go to this package. If the police cry and bitch and moan and throw hissy fits, temper tantrums, behave like petulant children, the way that they normally do you think the police are actually going to be able to get an exemption from these vaccine mandates? I think they might be. But take a look at this package, y'all, out of Denver. The police union can't even do math good. Let's take a look today.
Police union is blasting a survey showing the majority of officers in the city are not vaccinated, even though the union conducted the survey. Our political specialist, Sean Boyd, has a follow-up to that story she broke last night. Sean, the union says its own survey isn't accurate.
Jim, that is what it says in a news release it issued last night. But according to text messages that I obtained today, that is not what the union president indicated to the manager of public safety when he sent him the survey results this week.
I was astonished with the numbers.
Public safety manager Murphy Robinson says he learned of Denver Police Union's internal survey from union president Nick Rogers, who texted him the results Monday, just hours before the mayor announced a vaccine mandate for all city employees. According to the text, 57% of officers surveyed said they weren't vaccinated, and 72% said they would not get vaccinated as a condition of employment.
We are required as law enforcement to get vaccinations all the time, regardless of your reason. You have been ordered to get vaccinated. You have been ordered to take care of this.
CBS 4 asked Union President Nick Rogers to comment on the survey results, but he refused to do so until after CBS 4 made them public. He then issued a press release calling the story fake news and saying, quote, the survey responses were statistically and mathematically so far away of realistic numbers. He says that's why he didn't release them, except he did to Robinson and the mayor's chief of staff, and both say he didn't raise any concerns about their validity with them. After receiving the survey, Robinson texted the union president, I guess the question is, are they willing to risk discipline for this? The mayor is pretty clear that he won't tolerate people making this political. Rogers texts back, that one I can't answer. We are about to step off a cliff, and I'm afraid it's a big one. I had no idea on the numbers. Robinson says if the union's goal was to get the mayor's office to exempt police from the vaccine mandate, it failed.
This vaccine is not about us as individuals. This is about us as a whole making a difference so that we can make sure our public is safe. My goal is not to have to do one disciplinary measure.
That's the end goal, not to have to do one disciplinary measure. And the way that that's probably going to end up happening is that my guess is that these cops are going to cry and whine and throw themselves on the floor and say, wah, we're not going on patrol. Wah, we're not doing all the shit that we supposed to do, that we took an oath to do. Wah, until the leadership capitulates. And y'all, I know, I don't know who we got out there in Colorado. And I know it's a good many Negroes in Denver, but it's not majority Negro in Denver. And I keep seeing these black people in positions of power out there in Denver. It makes me scratch my head a little bit. I mean, the mayor is black, African American, and that was the public safety manager. He's also African American. I think some of this is, we ain't got to listen to black people. and I'm not even trying to discard the fact that, probably not an insignificant portion of the police force who is black is probably also opting not to take this vaccine either. But that just goes to show you the ridiculousness of some of the arguments put forth by police unions and fraternal orders of police, because public safety is never the goal here, y'all. We are in the midst of a pandemic. And the fact that there are even any number of officers who are refusing to vaccinate themselves when dealing with the public. Now, listen, if you got desk duty all day, whatever. But if you have to go outside and be on patrol and interview people and engage with people and show up to car accidents and other types of emergency situations, you cannot just be out here barefaced. Who said it? Was it Pookie Wood? Who said this a long time ago? Going raw, just going raw with your face all in public in the middle of a pandemic. It's absurd. It is absurd. And a lot of these vaccine mandates for state workers are coming up soon. Usually the deadlines that I've seen range from like September 1st to like October 1st. So I said all that to say, guys, if the vaccination is the deal breaker for a lot of these police, we should shut off some fireworks. I mean, this could be easier said than done, actually, to eliminate even a percentage of police through termination, which would be awesome if they got fired for refusing to vaccinate, or if they quit or retired on their own. Now, I think the backlash to that would be state governments and municipalities will respond by giving the police more money, of course, because, of course, they have to replace all the shortages in personnel. So, if we lost a bunch of cops because they refused to get vaccinated, well, here's another, $25 million more for additional police hiring. That is the downside to that. But please make no mistake that cops are out here spreading COVID. They are. I mean, there's no other way to honestly look at the situation. With the transmissibility of the Delta variant being what it is silly to think that police would not be out here spreading the virus. So they definitely are. So if there are police in your area who are refusing to get vaccinated and have drawn a line in the sand, and they just ask those fraternal order of police lodges, like, do y'all promise to quit? Like, okay, y'all don't want to get vaccinated. Cool. It's a mandate, but okay. But do y'all promise to quit? Do y'all mean it? Do you pinky swear? Do you pinky promise that you are going to leave this force if we are requiring you to get vaccinated? And my concern is, guys, like, this is going to be where police powers really get flexed. If our leadership allows exemptions for police, or if all of a sudden all these police who said that they're not getting vaccinated become Jehovah's Witnesses and claim a religious exemption, is that going to be allowed to stand? And I think it is, because police operate outside of the bounds of law, outside of the bounds of rules. We know that. And politicians, be them Democrat, Republican, love to keep the police contingent happy and satisfied. They don't want the cops pissed at them. So if the police say that we're not going to work, we are going to quit, then is that going to be allowed to be the thing? Are they going to be allowed to just quit? I mean, when I say allowed, I mean not like a negotiation, or we're going to give you guys an extension in order to get more of your members. No, nigga, the Delta variant is out here to fucking day right now. Like this is not a negotiating process. This pandemic is still very much ongoing, and the police are a danger to public safety if they are out here unmasked and unvaccinated. I think that the cops are going to have an opportunity to do what the fuck they want, and I think they're going to make a lot of these elected officials. We just happen to focus on some Democratic places, San Francisco, Chicago, Denver. They're going to make these Democrat mayors and city councils mean that shit. And they're going to see it's going to come down to a battle of wills, I believe. I don't think these cops are prepared to walk off the job. It's too lucrative to be a police. Too lucrative. I mean, the pensions and the pay and the overtime notwithstanding, just think about how much thieving the patrol cops do from regular people on the streets. Too much money in policing. Either regular thieving or via civil asset forfeiture. They stealing regardless. Too much money to be a police out here for them to want to walk away from it. I don't believe it. I think a lot of these Democratic lawmakers are about to get punked. Straight up. But speaking of lack of police accountability, lack of police safety when it comes to public safety out here in these streets. And by the way, guys, thank you all so much for joining us today on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, would you please take a moment and do so? Or go on and hit that thumbs up for your homie. Just go on and give me a like real quick and let all them haters know you like it. It's weird, y'all. So certain videos here draw out the trolls. For example, the couple of pieces we did on Sasha Johnson, of course, the organizer and activist from the UK who was shot in the head. Clearly, people were searching Sasha Johnson's name and just shit posting under our video. And the same thing happened with Ryan LaRue. And I know I told our viewers last week on Black Power Media that I was going to do an update on Ryan LaRue. I want to actually have someone from the Montgomery County Justice Coalition on with us to talk about Ryan LaRue's case. So I'm sorry I keep promising and not delivering. I want to have someone on who can give us more details about the ongoing investigation surrounding Ryan LaRue, the 21-year-old Black man who was shot and killed by Montgomery County police in Gaithersburg, Maryland, maybe a month ago. So yeah, so I said that to say, guys, the police ain't shit. that is generally the position of this platform, right? With very few exceptions. And we're going to throw Neil Franklin's name out there for law enforcement against prohibition, the LEAP people. Neil is former police, and Neil, I'm assuming was good police, but Neil be letting the police know that they are on the absolute wrong side of the war on drugs, amongst many things. But no, generally here we have a position that police ain't shit. Tune, if you could please pop up B3 for me, please. And when we talk about public safety, right? COVID pandemic notwithstanding, what police do on a daily basis generally can be harmful to communities at large. The Washington Post has done a database, not the first time I think they've done this. And I'm not even sure if they're like the best ones to do it. I think The Guardian did a really good database some years back. It's called The Count, where they were tracking in real time how many people police kill annually, because the numbers provided by the federal government are generally incomplete and inaccurate, since police departments nationwide are not necessarily required to report that information about how many people their officers shoot and kill to the federal government. And not a giant fucking loophole you could drive an 18, wheel it through. So Washington Post, through their data journalism, say on-duty police officers have fatally shot more than 6,400 people since 2015, according to the Post database. That's an average of nearly 1,000 a year, almost 3 a day. This toll even reached a new high of 1,021 fatal shootings in 2020. This is an interesting thing that I think people should take a look at. And again, this is just the latest data. This is not necessarily new data. So we've known for some time that, let's say 10 years or so, that police usually shoot and kill about 1,000 people a year. That's a lot of fucking people. Okay. I don't care how many hundreds of millions of people in the United States there are. For the police to kill 1,000 people is a lot of people. And I know some from the right wing would say that, oh, well, statistically speaking, most of those people are white. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that supposed to change my mind? Is that supposed to, am I supposed to go, oh, You're right. Police is out here killing whites. Not a big deal. No, it is a big fucking deal. And my question is to the conservatives or to those who are pro-police or thin blue line or whatever nonsense you want to say, whatever cop propaganda you want to extol, it should bother you that police kill 1,000 people in this country. White, black, indigenous, Latinx, Asian, police shouldn't be killing unarmed people, period, point blank. Even if they are armed. And I don't even want to discuss all the instances of police being shot at by armed whites. And all I can say is, Johnny, put the gun down, Johnny. Jimmy, talk to him, Jimmy. We don't want to hurt you, man. We don't want to hurt you. Just put the gun down. Meanwhile, had that have been Darshan, they would have lit Darshan ass up with innumerable number of bullets. But anyway.